This guy stood out to us, coming over from Tulane, transferring to the SEC.
I am a huge believer in those bigger corners. I think 3 pass breakups, 35 tackles a pick, a fumble recovery.
Lockdown on the plains. Rayshawn Pleasant joins the Tigers via transfer portal and a much-needed DB room that's been kind of deprived over the last few years. I'm Nathan Johnston, here with my co-host, Brad Hopkins. It's time to break the huddle on Brad. Auburn's such an interesting team every year. We know the transfers that they got to come in this year, offense and defense, but this guy stood out to us, coming over from Tulane, transferring to the SEC. As I mentioned, chose Auburn over USC and Ole Miss. Thoughts on this guy, and what is Auburn getting in this DB and Rayshawn Pleasant?
You mentioned the first thing that stands out to me. USC and Ole Miss had offered this guy, and we know that those two teams, especially on the defense side of the football, heavily recruit the transfer portal. So if he had offers from those two programs, that tells me something. As far as the player, Rayshawn Pleasant, Nate, the first thing that stands out to me is the size. He goes about 6 foot, goes about 180. I am a huge believer in those bigger corners. I think when they're able to match up with pretty much any kind of receiver, that makes them so valuable. A guy that is long, lanky, he can defend a tall receiver. He's got the quickness and agility to keep up, with your typical SEC route runners. That's impressive to me. Nate, also another thing, Tulane is such a solid program. They've been so unbelievably good the past couple of years, even with the coaching changes, and him starting in a place like Tulane and transferring to Auburn, I think it's going to be a really easy transition for him. That stands out to me. And then the final thing, 3 pass breakups, 35 tackles a pick, a fumble recovery. This guy has a nose for the football, and that's what stands out to me. I am excited to watch him. I think this is a guy that Auburn needed to get. I'm interested to see is he a big time contributor? Is he just kind of a role player? But I think he's a guy that is definitely going to find some playing time on that Auburn defense. And final thing, you had this. I'm glad you had this up here. This is always big to me when you're able to go to the portal and find a guy that gives you multiple years of eligibility. I think that's so valuable. That's such a valuable thing of just these one and done guys. When you're able to get a multi-year contributor, that's very, very valuable.
Yeah, you mentioned his physicality, his smartness. He's quick. He can keep up in coverage, whether it's man-to-man or zone. I was personally watching his high school highlights, and he's an athlete, man.
Yeah.
He can get around the secondary very easily. He knows his zones. He hits his spots very quickly, very well. I like this pickup for Auburn. It's a very underrated pickup. It's not going to flash across the screen as a big-time quarterback would or anything like that, but it is a much-needed player at the position that they need him at.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing that stands out to me, his physicality. You look at his stat line, 35 tackles. What does that tell me? He knows how to square up and make plays. He's not going to let receivers make a move and get by him. And in the SEC, one wrong move, and that guy's gone. We talked about that with Barry and Brown.
Right.
I mean, so when you bring in a guy like Rayshawn, it's a great player to bring in.
Absolutely. And also just to kind of think about, just playing in the SEC, but, thinking Auburn is going to face some very, very good, some very deep wide receiver rooms. And Nate, something that stands out to me too is in football today, period, whether that's at the high school level, college, or the NFL, I don't think you can get by with just 3 quality corners. To me, you got to have 5 or 6 ready to play. And especially we're seeing more and more where you're getting 4 and 5 receiver sets, as well as, you've got dynamic tight ends. You've got running backs that running backs obviously play a part. You've got to have, I would say, minimum 5 corners. And I'm throwing nickels, guys that play the nickel in there as well.
Sure.
They got to be ready to play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Auburn can do this year. But defensively, they're quietly moving up in the ranks in the portal. And I think this guy in Rayshawn is going to help them, and especially Hugh Freeze, take that next step to get Auburn to that next level. Because right now, Auburn, I don't want to say they're the laughing stock of the SEC, but they're definitely not tier 1 material.
And we're not going to get into this because this is going to be, this is going to be a special episode, in our previews, but Hugh Freeze is on the hot seat. Let's be honest. This is a big year, and look, he needs to hit on some of these portal guys, and he has a good chance to hit on one here with Rayshawn Pleasant.
Absolutely. Auburn fans, please let us know down in the comments what you think about your new DB coming in from Tulane and Rayshawn Pleasant. Is he the missing piece in your secondary, or is he just an add-in along the way? Be sure to like this video, comment down below, subscribe down below, and as always, turn on that bell notification so you can stay up to date when we post our latest video. We'll see you next week. It's time to break the huddle.